Hey guys, today we're going to talk about mistakes people make when chasing the northern lights. So the first mistake people make is not giving themselves enough time at the location. The northern lights are not just something that's going to pop up every night of the year. You're going to have cloud cover, you're going to have bad weather that's going to restrict you from seeing them, so you've got to have enough time on location. We've been in the northern light zone, the places where you can see them now, for about 20 days, and we have seen them 5 nights out of those 20, so about 25% of the time. If you're only in this area for 3 or 4 nights, there's a decent chance you may not see them. And the reason for that is because they do tend to cluster. So we'll see them 2 nights in a row, then not see them for 10 nights, then see them for another 2 or 3 nights in a row. So even a week is a little light on time to be here if you're traveling a long way to do this. Maybe give yourself 10 days and give yourself a better chance at seeing them. The next thing is not putting yourself in a good location. If you really want to see them, and that's your main goal, you need to be in one of the best Northern Lights locations, which is not really anywhere in the United States. It's mostly going to be Iceland or Norway or possibly Sweden. These are the best places where you can get far enough north to see them, and you're going to give yourself the best chance at having a great experience that way. Next one I would say is going the wrong time of the year. You obviously should never think about going during the summer because they're not going to be out and visible. And in the winter, it's really, really cold in these good locations, and it's actually not the best time to be there. The time that they show up the most, generally speaking, is September, October, or March, April. But there's usually better weather in the September-October window. So when we planned our trip, we decided to go end of September, beginning of October, and we have really been happy with that decision. We've seen them quite a bit, and there's been some amazing shows so far. So if I was booking a 7 to 10 day trip, I'd probably go first week of October and go to somewhere in Norway or Iceland. That would be probably the best chance. Next mistake people make is not understanding what causes you to be able to see them and not putting yourself in the right location. So the lights come out when there's a KP index rating of 3 or 4 or 5 or higher. We've had several of those where it's KP5 or KP6, and there's websites, there's apps that'll tell you what that's going to be each night. And when you've got that combined with no cloud cover, that's when you're going to see them. So you've got to do 2 things. You've got to find a night when they're active, and then find a place where there is no cloud cover. So if you're just in Iceland and you're in your hotel in Reykjavik, the odds of you just walking outside and seeing the lights are pretty low because the clouds are probably not going to be cooperating. If you really want to see the lights, you've got to find a day that they're active and then figure out where the cloud cover is on the island and drive wherever that is to see them. First night we saw them, we had to drive 4 hours both ways to get out from under the cloud cover that was covering most of the island and be able to actually see them. But it was well worth it if this is like a trip of a lifetime for you to go ahead and do that. So that's my next tip for you, is that you do need to be mobile. You never know where the best place is going to be. Most of these places are kind of like islandy, and there may be clouds here but not 30 minutes down the road. So the best thing to do is to have a car and just be willing to adjust your time schedule with the weather and go wherever you need to go to get them. Now, some people book tours to see the Northern Lights, and I really advise against that, especially if you're booking well in advance, because you may be booking on a day or a cluster of days that they're not really even active, and no matter how good the tour is, they're just not going to show up. So best thing to do is to be flexible, have your car, check the apps, check with some locals, make sure that it's a good day to go, And then once you have that go ahead and just say, you know what, we're gonna spend all night just out driving around, chasing them from location to location and see if we can see them somewhere. So don't just pre-plan like, hey, we're gonna see the Northern Lights on October 10th, because they're probably not gonna cooperate like that, and you've gotta be willing to do things on the schedule that they're out with. Another thing I'd say is adjust your time schedule for your trip so that you're up and out later. They're not gonna show up until, after sunset, and you may need to spend most of the night out waiting and looking. And so if it's a situation where you're spending all day touring somewhere and then you're tired at night, you may not want to put the time in to see them at night. So if that is your main goal, spend your time during the day resting and then go do your tourist stuff at night so you can see the lights with all the other attractions that you want to see. And then the last thing I'd say is just make sure you have the right and up-to-date information, which is, we use the Aurora app, which tells you basically what your chances of seeing them in any location are, and just the Weather Channel or any other weather apps you have that'll show you the cloud cover for the location that you're in. Make sure you have those two things, and if you do that, you follow some of these tips, you'll greatly increase your chance of seeing the Northern Lights. We hear of a lot of people that come back and they didn't see them, and some people say, well, I was in Reykjavik, or I was in Bergen or Tromso, and I was just in my hotel and they never came out. And that's probably accurate, because if you're just staying in that one location, that's the only place you have to see them. You're going to have to make an effort to drive, get away, go to a beach, go to a isolated area with less light pollution, and get outside the city and just wait. And then hopefully they'll show up and you'll see them and have the experience of a lifetime. Hope this has helped you. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will have more tips on Northern Lights and travel coming up for you soon. Thanks.